When we stand on the sidewalk, we will stand on the side so as not to affect the traffic. Move closer. People behind you can come on the sidewalk and make way for them. Move closer. There are cars passing by and will record the petition. On July 2nd this year, veterans from all over China went to Beijing to petition collectively because they had not been properly resettled. From the video, it can be seen that the team can be seen at a glance. Some of them wear military uniforms of various arms, and a small number of them wear civilian clothes. They carried flags and banners that read, "We cannot afford medical treatment. We cannot support our families. Youth is dedicated to national defense," and "Implement the military-to-military policy and return my identity." Some of the flags were marked with the names of representatives for the rights protection of veterans from Chengdu City, Tangshan City, and big cities in Hebei Province. Layoff and unemployed volunteers from Huma County in Shanxi Province, Dazhou City in Sichuan Province, Yiyang City in Hunan Province, and Luhe City in Hunan Province, etc. The National Bureau of Letters and Calls of China, located in the capital Beijing, has always been crowded with people, and petition activities from all over China has increased dramatically year by year. Now, not only ordinary people, but also veterans and police officers are petitioning. Collective petitions by veterans began in the 1950s, but in recent years the number, scale, and conflicts have gradually increased. In particular, these retired soldiers gathered in crowds in military uniforms and took to the streets, and even directly surrounded the Bai building, the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, and other party government and military agencies. This is contrary to the image of the military as brave soldiers that China's official media has always released, and the local government's promotion of their achievements in resettling veterans. Many veterans originally had local job placement quotas, but due to the various problems with the local government, their resettlement is not ideal. Some people's families are even under great pressure, and some people do not receive the basic benefits they deserve. Therefore, many veterans have begun to appeal in the form of petitions, including protests, petitions, lawsuits, publishing open letters, and establishing websites or blogs, etc. This significantly impacts the Chinese Communist regime, which is led by the party. According to Radio Free Asia, as early as July 16, 2018, veterans from all over Henan and laid-off veterans from the 4 major banks gathered at the Henan Provincial Ministry of Civil Affairs gate to protest for their rights. On the same day, veterans from Shandong were about to go to Beijing to appeal, but they were blocked by the police at the train station. These are volunteers from Zhengzhou, Xixian, and Dengzhou in Henan, as well as veterans from Hebei County, Xixian, Huixian, and Huaxian. This is Anyang, Henan. Many people from Anyang, Henan, and many from Weishi County, Kaifeng, Henan. Dozens of people from Shanjiao County came. In 2018, retired soldiers from Jinan City, Shandong Province were in Jinan West Railway Station. We were preparing to go to Beijing to appeal and recover our personal legitimate rights and interests. Let's go and shout 1, 2, 3, 4 together. You are security guards and you have no law enforcement power. Why are you stopping us from petitioning? On March 25th this year, it was reported on the internet that in front of the National Bureau of Letters and Calls in Beijing, many policemen in police uniforms were also lining up to petition.
你的一户自己的合法权益是几个人啊
？4个人，一开始7个人，
后
来又被打压，都回去3个。
被打压回3个。
被打压了。
Why is veteran petitioning in China becoming more and more intense? American scholars Neil J. Diamond and Kevin J. O'Brien found out by analyzing the experiences of veterans through related theme blogs and military websites in mainland China. Generally speaking, it's difficult for China's veterans to adapt to the economic, social, cultural, and political changes in the reform era. Many of them find themselves lagging behind other groups, complaining about poverty, unresolved medical problems, and a lack of respect for their contributions to the country. Many retired military officers also complained that they were insulted by the leadership during the petitioning process, and some were even arbitrarily detained and sent to black jails for petitioning. There are approximately 57 million retired military personnel in mainland China, with the number increasing by hundreds of thousands yearly depending on age, normal retirement, and disarmament factors. According to statistics from the Political Department of the Central Military Commission and the Bureau of Letters and Calls, more than 100,000 military personnel retire every year, of which about 40,000 to 50,000 are officers. A report by Yin Wei-min, former Minister of Human Resources and Social Security, pointed out that no fewer than 2.4 million military cadres were transferred to local governments from the time when China began reform and opening up in the 80s to 2009. On the other hand, China has vigorously promoted military reforms since Xi Jinping came to power, announcing the reduction of 300,000 troops and the dismissal of a large number of middle and high-level officers. It emphasizes that the CCP's military spending will be used to develop and purchase high-tech weapons, and the army will be streamlined. However, it will face follow-up problems after disarmament. The economic, housing, and other livelihood problems of a large number of retired soldiers have not been solved. Because the nature of the Chinese military is party and army, it's difficult to form a complete and stable legal and regulatory system for the wages and benefits of retired military personnel. There is also a lack of legal protection. A recent video showed a soldier serving in China's East China Sea Fleet returning home to visit relatives. As a result, the village expropriated the land, injuring the sailor and his family. The East China Sea Fleet, the Navy of the East China Sea Fleet, came home to visit relatives, and he was also beaten. These government officials have recently gained a reputation for cracking down on gangs and evil. They are like robbers who start beating people with sticks when they enter their homes. There are also recent videos on the internet showing that a policeman named Qi Zhenwei from the Criminal Investigation Detachment of Hulu Dao City Public Security Bureau in Liaoning Province was disabled on the job in 1998. He asked for help online under his real name, claiming that he had not been reimbursed for medical expenses for years of work-related injuries. When he and his family went to Beijing to appeal for rights, they were brutally treated by interceptors. His family members were beaten and fell to the ground. Hello everyone, I am Qi Zhenwei from the Criminal Investigation Detachment of the Public Security Bureau. I am from Hulu Dao City. I still report to the Hulu Dao City Medical Security Bureau. This is my work-related injury certificate. I was only reimbursed from the second half of 2006 to 2013. So why weren't I reimbursed before? As of today, there is no reimbursement. On Thursday, June 13th, 2024, I stayed at the Medical Insurance Center for a day. I almost died at night when I came back because I had difficulty breathing, but I had no money to buy medicine, and my health was getting worse every day. Please help me. Hulu Dao Municipal Medical Security Bureau just won't reimburse me. What do you think I should do? I am bleeding and crying now, really bleeding and crying. Someone from the Letters and Calls Bureau is beating someone. I want to call the police. People from the Letters and Calls Bureau are beating someone here. According to a report by Radio Free Asia, Gao Hongyi, a veteran from Qingdao, Shandong Province, was a member of the Communist Party. He was recently expelled from the party because he had petitioned many times. Gao Hongyi served in the 38th Army of the People's Liberation Army for 5 years in the 1970s. He was later assigned to the automobile team of the commercial bureau of his original unit, responsible for driving and repairing cars. In 2001, the state-owned enterprise was restructured, and the commercial bureau automobile team became a private enterprise. But Gao Hongyi refused to terminate the contract. Although the 2 years of salary deductions were later repaid through legal proceedings, he could no longer receive wages, insurance, and benefits and was forced to defend his rights. Gao Hongyi has become a thorn in the side of the authorities due to his experience in petitioning many times in recent years. 3 years ago, he was sentenced to 2 years. Afterwards, he went to the Department of Veterans Affairs in Qingdao. He asked to retrieve files and go through retirement procedures but received bad news. The Qingdao Enterprise Trusteeship Center Committee had decided to expel him from the party. In the face of various problems arising from veterans, in 2020 the Beijing authorities introduced the Veterans Security Law, but encountered difficulties during the implementation process, mainly reflected in several aspects. First, as China's economy continues to deteriorate, the treatment of retired military personnel has been seriously affected. At the same time, forced demolitions are rampant across the country, and there are many examples of retired military personnel becoming petitioners because their homes were forcibly demolished. Second, the resettlement of retired military personnel follows the principle of localization. The economic imbalance between China's East, Middle, and West is quite serious, and the corresponding resettlement conditions and benefits are very different. This has created countless contradictions inadvertently, and the central government has not been able to regulate effectively. At the same time, the central and local governments blame each other. The local governments rely on land sales to maintain government expenditures. How can they have so much money to solve the problem of veterans? The localities ask the central government for support. Third, there is corruption at all levels, and relevant regulations are selectively enforced. All parties want to take advantage of retired military personnel, and veterans are suffering. This kind of systemic corruption with no relief channels forces veterans to petition collectively and defend their rights. Fourth, there is systemic unfairness in the placement of veterans. Soldiers and officers are not the same. Rural and urban are not the same, and there are huge differences between senior, mid-level, and low-level officers. These strange multi-track systems allow a small number of privileged classes to seize the lion's share of benefits. Fifth, the Tiger crackdown and military reform in the military after Xi Jinping came to power have seriously impacted the entire army. Political forces within the system are operating, and anti-Xi troops within the military and the party are using various means to fight back.